happens in the locker room should stay there. But some people love drama.
Deep inside the arena, sources are spilling the tea on the unthinkable. LeBron James and Luka Dončić just got into it behind closed doors. The reason? The king just got hit with a reality check he swore would never happen. Luka didn't just land in LA to hoop. He walked in and snatched the crown before he even unpacked his bags. The second Luka's sneakers hit the floor, the whole power dynamic shifted. For 6 years, Braun was the alpha, the final word. Now, he's yelling into the void while the organization tunes into a new frequency. Luka is the signal now. If you missed the changing of the guard, just check the tunnel footage. GM Rob Pelinka didn't just walk past LeBron. He looked right through him to chase after Dončić. Cameras caught the whole thing, the shock etched on James's face. The city's energy has flipped. The throne isn't just shaking. They're dismantling it right under him. Dončić is steering the ship now, and James is feeling the phantom pain of his lost authority. Strap in, because we're dissecting every second, from that tunnel snub to the explosion that rocked the locker room. You think you know NBA chaos? You have no clue what's coming. Forget the old narrative that Braun still pulls the strings. That era is dead and buried. Check the body language. Look at the suits in the front office. The entire solar system orbits around Luka Dončić now. He's the architect of the offense, the clutch factor, the first look in the huddle. He's the guy soaking up the love, the daps, and that blinding spotlight that used to be LeBron's private property. It's not hearsay. Watch the tape. Check the box scores. Luka is stacking triple-doubles, hitting circus shots, and lifting the roster like it's the Showtime era all over again. Sure, LeBron is getting his stats, but the vibe, it's completely different. There's a new sheriff patrolling these streets, and he's wearing number 77. The writing isn't just on the wall, they're screaming it from the rafters. If you're paying attention, it's the worst-kept secret in Hollywood. The front office bet the next 10 years on the Slovenian sensation. Check your timeline. It's all Luka magic, Luka screaming, Luka mic'd up. Meanwhile, the King's highlight reel is looking pretty thin. The algorithm has picked its new favorite son. Even the OGs, the legends Braun worshipped as a kid, are switching sides and crowning Luka as the league's future. The kicker? All this disrespect is happening while the chosen one is still suiting up in purple and gold. James knew Luka was next up, but he never expected the takeover to be this fast, loud, or brutal. Let's be clear. Luka isn't just a co-star sharing the billboard. He is the evolution. He is the timeline. For the first time in 20 years, LeBron looks like an outsider on his own squad, feeling a sting of rejection he's never known. That desperate need to be the man is exactly why he torched Cleveland back in 2010. But hold up, this gets darker. We need to unpack the trade details, the shady timing, and the moment Braun realized his crown had been melted down for Luka. When the Woj bomb dropped Luka Dončić to LA for Anthony Davis, the basketball world didn't just gasp, it flatlined. Everyone said relax, but are you kidding me? This wasn't a trade. It was an extinction-level event nobody predicted. We're talking about a generational talent, a perennial MVP candidate in his absolute prime, getting shipped from Dallas to the City of Angels. Deals like this are myths. The second the ink dried, the fallout was instant and hilarious. Twitter crashed, analysts screamed, and former champs lost their minds. It was arguably the most volatile move in the sport's history. Even Luka was rattled. He told reporters the call felt like a fever dream, like a twisted prank. The man was visibly shaken, tearing up about leaving Texas, the only NBA home he'd ever known. Then snap, he's a Laker. And let's be honest, the faithful didn't just welcome him. They rolled out the red carpet like they were starving for a messiah. Then Luka walked in. Sure, losing AD hurt, but getting prime Luka? That's a deal with the devil you make every time to secure the bag for the next 15 years. How can you not lose your mind over acquiring Luka Dončić? But here's the twist. By the time he strutted into that introductory press conference, the message was loud and clear. Rob Pelinka and the front office weren't playing it cool. They were practically foaming at the mouth. Pelinka talked about Luka like he was the holy grail, the franchise's destiny, basically shouting that the Lakers were pivoting hard. And the timing? That's where the chaos really starts to fester. Right when this blockbuster dropped, LeBron was sidelined, nursing a nagging foot injury in street clothes. We're talking about an Iron Man breaking down for the first time in decades. Call it bad luck or fate. But that injury left the king powerless to defend his turf just as the franchise bet the house on the new kid. The timing was savage. When mics were finally shoved in LeBron's face, his reaction said it all. He straight up admitted he thought the trade was a hoax. He couldn't process that Davis was actually gone. He claimed it didn't hit him until he saw Luka in the gold armor on camera. He played the good soldier, acting like he had zero beef with the move. I was out to dinner with the family. Phone blew up. Honestly, the first time I heard it, I thought it was fake news. 100%. At first, the world laughed it off as a viral prank. But for LeBron James, he was open to a heavy hitter joining the ranks. But he never saw the knife coming. He had no clue how fast the loyalty would shift to Luka Dončić. Just like that, the ink was dry on the most explosive deal in modern history. A trade meant to fix Dallas became a total demolition of the hierarchy in Los Angeles. The spotlight ripped away from the king, and the fans lost their minds. The front office didn't just pivot, they completely turned their backs on the past. Suddenly, the guy who defined the Lakers' identity is living a nightmare, playing for a team screaming loud and clear that he's not the alpha dog anymore. Buckle up, because this is where the story gets ugly. When Luka Dončić touched down in LA, it wasn't just a roster swap. It was an earthquake. It felt like someone took the locker room culture and set it on fire. Barely 2 weeks later, the silence broke. Insider reports started leaking, painting a picture of a dynasty in chaos. The vibe in Los Angeles hadn't just changed, it turned toxic. Then Jovan Buha, the insider who sees everything, spoke up. He dropped a bombshell. Fear is taking over the organization. Frustration is mounting. Uncertainty is spreading. Players are looking around asking, who are we even playing for anymore? To understand why this cuts so deep for LeBron, you have to look at the empire he built. This isn't a guy who just plays, he rules. Every city, every franchise, every roster, LeBron James has held the keys to the kingdom his entire career. That is, until the Slovenian sensation walked through the door. Look at the wreckage in Cleveland. During his first run, he was furious, claiming management was too incompetent to build a throne worthy of him. When he returned in 2014, he didn't ask, he commanded. Kevin Love was brought in because the king demanded a sacrifice. Even the coaches were expendable. David Blatt got fired mid-season in 2015 despite leading the conference, all to pave the way for LeBron's pick, Tyronn Lue. He weaponized 1+1 contracts like a sword, holding the franchise hostage to force win-now moves at the snap of a finger. In Los Angeles, the nickname Le GM wasn't a joke. It was a title earned through absolute dominance. He strong-armed the front office into the Anthony Davis trade, publicly shamed the roster to force upgrades, and pulled every string imaginable to get his own blood on the team. Now, Bronny's drafted into the league. Let's keep it a buck that kid's jersey isn't hanging in the locker room without his father's massive shadow looming over the draft board. LeBron spent 20 years writing this script. But this is the plot twist that broke him because management didn't just tune him out when Luka arrived. They committed the ultimate betrayal. They started treating Luka with the same reverence, the same gold-plated worship that used to be reserved strictly for the king. The secret meetings, the PR push, the body language on the court overnight, the crown was lifted from James's head and placed right on Dončić. It got so volatile that reports surfaced of a heated face-off. LeBron, nose to nose with the young star, demanding to know who really runs this city. We are talking about an argument that nearly turned into a brawl, forcing teammates to pick sides in a civil war brewing behind closed doors. They tried to keep a lid on it until the cracks showed on national TV. A timeout. LeBron daps up a teammate and leaves Luka hanging in the cold. A deliberate public snub. This wasn't some rookie hazing ritual. This was a declaration of war. A classic power struggle playing out in front of millions. For decades, LeBron has been the sun everything orbits around. He calls the plays. He steers the ship. He is the system. But now there is a challenger who doesn't need to play politics. Luka isn't trying to steal the throne. He's taking it by simply being undeniably great. The youth, the adoration, the media obsession. Every cheer for Luka is a chisel, chipping away at the monument LeBron spent 20 years building. Inside the arena, the whispers are getting deafening. Is this LeBron's team anymore? Or are we witnessing a hostile takeover by Luka Dončić? This goes way beyond rumors. We are watching a tectonic shift in power. In a league driven by ego and hierarchy, the foundation is crumbling. If you thought the trade was massive, just wait for the fallout. The switch isn't just happening, it's accelerating. And believe me, once you hear how the locker room and even NBA icons are bowing down to Luka's greatness, you'll realize the truth. The tension between the old king and the new prince is about to explode, making the NBA more cutthroat and dramatic than anything we have witnessed in years. Man, Hollywood couldn't write a script this twisted if they tried. Since Luka Dončić touched down, the loyalty has shifted. Everyone from the guys on the bench to the legends of the past is tipping the scales toward Luka. Just look at Austin Reeves. After a massive victory, Reeves broke character. He admitted he rarely hands out praise, but he looked the camera dead in the eye and called Luka one of the absolute best to ever lace them up. He didn't stop there. He hailed Luka's leadership, his vision, his supernatural ability to elevate every single person wearing that jersey. Reeves basically sent a message to the world. Luka is the captain now. He is the one we ride into battle with. When you have a teammate acknowledging that level of genius, admitting that Luka makes the impossible look easy, the writing is on the wall. But wait, it gets even deeper. As the shockwaves of Luka's arrival spread, the icons of the game started weighing in. Allen Iverson, a man who never faked a word in his life, didn't hold back on a podcast. He dropped this gem when asked who carries his torch. Who in the league reminds you of yourself? Everybody says Ja. Everybody says Ja. But what the hell is wrong with Luka? That man is a problem. And believe me when I say this, coming from a legend like AI, that is not just a compliment, that is a coronation. Kevin also dropped a massive bombshell recently, claiming that Luka's arrival in LA basically handed LeBron a lifeline, buying him another 3 years on the clock. But stop and think about what that really means. What did Luka actually do for Bron? He didn't just bring assists, he brought time. He gave the king a 3-year extension on his reign. This is exactly the role LeBron was begging AD to take for years. He wanted AD to say, "I got this, big fella. Step back," but it never stuck. Now look at Luka. He isn't asking for permission. He is taking the keys. And what Kevin is pointing out here is subtle, but let's be honest, it is absolutely brutal. Forget the locker room whispers and the obvious power struggle. Luka's presence is rewriting the final chapter of LeBron's legacy in real time. Whether the king likes it or not, the fans are starting to pick sides and the tide is turning toward Luka because he didn't just come here to win hearts with a smile. He came to burn down the old hierarchy. Every possession is a statement that the scoreboard belongs to him now, and the future of this franchise is already wearing his jersey. The analytics don't lie. Before Luka touched down in Los Angeles, the Lakers' offense was treading water. Manageable, sure, but completely stagnant compared to this. The second that trade went through, everything shifted. The tectonic plates of the entire league moved. Check the tracking data. It is staggering. The Lakers' three-point attempt frequency exploded from 34.3 to 42.3 per 100 possessions. We are talking about a rocket ship from the basement of the league straight to the top 3 in volume overnight. That is unheard of. That shift forces defenses to panic and stretch out to the logo, which plays right into Luka's hands. The paint clears, the floor opens up, and suddenly every shooter on the roster looks like an all-star. Make no mistake, this isn't luck. This is a complete system overhaul, redesigned from the ground up around one man's lethal skill set. It is no accident that the Lakers' offensive rating skyrocketed to 116.1 the moment he steps on the hardwood. He single-handedly dragged this offense out of the mud and into the top 7 in the entire NBA. But that is just the team dynamic. You want to talk about personal domination? Let's look at the monster numbers he is putting up. First game back against Dallas, the emotions are high. The crowd is hostile. What does Luka do? 19 points, 15 boards, 12 assists, a triple-double dagger right through the heart of his old team. That was career triple-double number 81. Can you imagine the sick feeling in the stomach of the Mavs front office watching that, realizing they just gave away a generational warlord during his absolute prime? In LA, he is averaging nearly 28 points a night, pulling down 8.2 rebounds and dishing out over 7.5 assists. And he is doing this while learning a whole new playbook on the fly. These numbers aren't just good, they are transformative. Luka commands so much gravity that guys like Austin Reeves and Jackson Hayes are looking like totally different players out there. Look at the analytics on the pick and roll. With Luka running the show, the efficiency spiked from a pedestrian 0.92 all the way up to a lethal 1.18 points per possession after February. That means guys who looked average last year are suddenly feasting because defenses are terrified to collapse the paint the way they used to. That is the Luka effect. It is a direct ripple of chaos caused by having a magician controlling the tempo. So gone are the slow, clunky sets. Gone is the stagnant, predictable LeBron ISO ball. Now it is spacing. It is execution. It is relentless pace. That shift forced the brass to make the hard call. This is a Luka-first offensive identity. Now there is no going back. Like one insider leaked, this wasn't just a trade. It was a hostile takeover of the team's entire operating system. Let's keep it 100. You cannot bet the farm on a 41-year-old icon whose twilight is knocking on the door. But with Luka, you have youth, elite production, and a guy dragging the metrics into the stratosphere. Management didn't just see a player. They saw the only path forward. This isn't a quick fix. This is a dynasty reboot. Luka is only 26 years old. He is starving for a ring. He hasn't even hit his ceiling yet. A franchise built around him is terrifying. It makes perfect sense why they pivoted so aggressively. If this was just about adding a star to the roster, we would call it ambitious and move on. But this morphed into a full-blown identity crisis and a complete reboot of purple and gold basketball. If you ask me, the Lakers aren't just playing for seeding. They are constructing a new legacy, one that doesn't need the king to carry the crown anymore. Because with Luka at the wheel, this engine isn't just running, it is roaring. And right now, the debate is over. Put Luka Dončić next to LeBron James. Look at the cold hard data and tell me who the alpha is. Let's start with usage. Luka is commanding a staggering 33.8% of the offense. That means 1 out of every 3 plays dies or thrives on his fingertips. Look at the usage rate. LeBron's numbers have tanked to 28.8%. The system isn't leaning on him anymore. It is completely leaving him behind. The offense runs through Luka now, and it is operating with lethal efficiency. He is averaging over 28.2 points, grabbing 8.1 boards, and dishing out 7.5 assists in just 35 minutes a night. Meanwhile, James is posting 24.4 points, 7.8 rebounds, and 8.2 assists. Similar playing time, but the impact isn't even close. Luka is maintaining elite efficiency even with the entire defense keying in on him. James simply cannot carry that kind of load night in and night out anymore. But pause for a second, because the real story is getting juicy. It isn't just about the box score dominance. It is the political warfare happening off the court that should actually worry you. The Lakers front office isn't just sending subtle hints anymore. They are broadcasting it loud and clear. And trust me, the message is unmistakable. Think back to that interaction we saw in the tunnel earlier. Did you catch how they walked off the floor? Rob Pelinka didn't even look LeBron's way. He went straight to Luka. You don't need a PhD in psychology to read between those lines. That is blatant disrespect. That was a total power play. That is the general manager telling the entire world without saying a word, this is our franchise player now. The king is done, and we are turning the page. LeBron knows exactly what time it is. But why does a simple hallway walk signal such a massive change? Because when the Lakers organization decides to crown a savior, they don't do it quietly. Just look at the history books. Magic Johnson, Shaq, the Black Mamba himself. The moment management picks the successor, everything changes. The whole machine shifts gears, marketing campaigns, roster moves, the media spin, even the face printed on the season tickets. The franchise warps its reality around the new alpha. And let's be real, Luka is the one holding the keys now. The proof is right there. We are hearing reports that Luka and Pelinka are in constant communication, breaking down rotations and sketching out the 5-year blueprint. The PR team is quietly scrubbing the old era to make room for the new prodigy. Take a look at the promo blasts and social media feeds. They are positioning him as the solo face of the brand. Insider sources are confirming what we already suspected. The Lakers have officially moved into the post-LeBron era, and the exit plan is already in motion. Pelinka basically said the quiet part out loud, admitting they are building the foundation around Luka for the next 10 years. Honestly, I can't think of a deadlier cornerstone to start a decade of dominance with. So, where does that leave the king? Did he actually think he would sit on the throne forever? Did he expect the franchise to bow down to him until the end of time? But wait, because here is where the script flips and the locker room tension starts to boil over. Now that the front office has shown their cards, LeBron looks like a man scrambling to claw back his influence before it is gone for good. You can see it happening in real time on game night. He is fighting a battle for relevance. He stops the ball, forcing the offense to run through him like it is 2016. Plays that should flow effortlessly through Luka, the team's designated leader, are stalling out because someone refuses to let go of the reins. The passive-aggressive energy is off the charts. Then you get LeBron at the podium, dropping little jabs about veteran experience, clearly taking swipes at the new guy. We know this routine. It is what I call fair-weather leadership. It is performative. It is calculated. When the squad is winning and a ring is in sight, he is the ultimate teammate, glowing like it is 2019 all over again. But the second adversity hits, the pouting starts, and the defensive effort disappears. And it is not just the internal drama. The media vultures are circling, and they are not letting James off the hook. The minute that trade went down, every talking head and rival player flipped the script instantly. The question isn't, can the Lakers make this work anymore? It has become a statement of fact. Luka is the undisputed face of the league now. Every night we are watching the separation of powers between the rising sun and the setting star. I truly believe Luka is about to unleash a run that proves he is the best player on the planet, period. Paul Pierce was spot on. The Lakers are essentially forcing LeBron to train his own replacement on national television. One ESPN analyst called this trade the wildest power shift we have seen in years, eclipsing even the legendary Big Three era. Yeah, the very same super team era LeBron created himself. Now everyone is arguing about what his legacy is actually worth at this moment. Is he just a bridge now? A wildly expensive placeholder keeping the seat warm until Luka takes full command? As always, the internet is undefeated. Social media is on fire with memes of Luka literally carrying LeBron, and the chants in the arena are starting to echo Luka's name. Turn on the TV. Veterans and experts are obsessing over the future dynasty, completely ignoring LeBron's past rings. They are breaking down Luka's international stardom, the merchandise frenzy, and how a young icon like him spikes the Lakers' long-term brand value. But James, he is becoming a footnote in the house he helped build. The headline is Luka, always Luka. And here is where it gets explosive. This narrative shift has hit the fan base like a grenade in a crowded room. Laker Nation is in the middle of a civil war. And surprisingly, the masses are turning their backs on LeBron. It is getting ugly out there. From toxic comment sections to screaming matches outside the arena, it feels less like fandom and more like a bitter divorce. You have the Gen Z crowd, the digital natives who are all in on the Luka movement. They are flooding the timeline with highlight reels and deep dive analytics, proclaiming him the savior of Los Angeles hoops. They are addicted to the swagger, the step backs, the no-look passes, the whole vibe. He is 26 and already dominating. To them, he isn't just a hooper. He is the culture. He is the only reason they are maxing out their credit cards for tickets again. But the twist is that even the old-school fans, the diehards who bled for Kobe, MJ, and the Showtime era, are jumping ship to Team Luka. Why? Because Luka reminds them of a time when skill, fundamentals, and killer intensity mattered more than just athleticism. They have seen this movie before. They recognize a dynasty in the making, and they know exactly what the future of the purple and gold is supposed to look like. We watched the torch pass from Magic to Kobe, then the team faded into the dark ages for years. But now Luka has kicked the door down, and that championship electricity is finally crackling through the arena again. And that energy shift is fatal for LeBron, because history tells us one thing. Once the crowd crowns a new king, the front office always follows suit. Kobe commanded an army. Magic led a movement. Shaq owned the streets. And right now, brick by brick, Luka is building that same undeniable empire. This isn't just hype. It is a fan base that is fully radicalized, betting it all on him because they can see the undeniable truth on the hardwood. So, when you stack up the media circus, the cryptic signals from management, and fans literally switching sides in real time, you realize exactly why the king is looking over his shoulder. This goes way beyond stats. He isn't just battling Luka for the ball. He is fighting a war against the entire city of Los Angeles. And let me tell you, that is a battle he is destined to lose. Which brings us to the brutal question the networks are too terrified to ask on air, but the streets are already screaming. Is the LeBron era officially dead? Has Luka snatched the throne simply by being younger, faster, and infinitely more explosive? Are we watching a franchise that has silently shifted into a post-LeBron timeline while he is still wearing the jersey? Look at the evidence. From the promotional posters to the rotation changes to the way the locker room discusses the future, it feels like the Lakers have already turned the page. Here is the cold, hard reality the league can't suppress. Luka is the future, LeBron is history, and Los Angeles is deciding who survives. So, I am putting the pressure on you right now. Pick a lane. Whose side are you on?